Welcome to our community. Susie Thomas with you this morning. Very happy to welcome Anthony Burdett from P. Graham Dunn. Good morning.
Hey, good morning, Susie. Happy to be here.
Anthony, how are you doing? This coronavirus wasn't what anybody expected 2020 to look like. And I know that P. Graham Dunn has done some interesting and fun things to keep the economy rolling. What are you doing? How are you doing?
Yeah, Susie, so a loaded question, but we...
A complete one, yes. A half hour to answer it.
A great opportunity arose shortly after we were forced to shut down our factory when DeWine issued the statement that basically all non-essential production needed to be stopped, and that was through PPE. And so basically, I think it was about a week or 2 weeks after we had shut down, an opportunity arose for us to produce face shields. And that was a pretty simple process for us. We do a lot of hand assembly here at our factory. And so we were quickly able to adapt basically the way those shields were produced. It was a sheet of plastic, a piece of foam, and an elastic band. And essentially all we had to do was staple those parts together and then prepackage them to ship out.
But it sounds easy to you. It sounds like an amazing effort to me. I can't imagine, because did you have to do some retraining? Were you able to bring back most employees? Because that was amazing. It was remarkable how you turned on a dime that way.
Yeah, we were so happy to be able to help. We were able to convert we have some hand assembly lines here. Mm-hmm. So we make decor day in and day out. So that might be framed artwork, photo frames, little signs, blocks, just little pieces that you can place around the home. And quite a few of those items have a bit of handiwork that's required to finish them. So we have nail guns, staple guns, gluing, and those kinds of things that are all hand processes here still at P. Graham Dunn. And so basically how it works is we have a couple assembly lines, and so we're able to kind of send things down those lines, and people were able to stay spaced apart appropriately and wear the appropriate gear to keep them safe during the manufacturing process. But that was something that was actually most important was the process was, even though we were able to bring folks back, we wanted to bring them back in a safe way. So we actually started a little slower. We've only brought so many folks back in the beginning, and then as we felt like we were creating a safe and efficient workforce to produce the masks or the shields, we kind of continued to expand and create different zones basically throughout the factory. So where places previously weren't doing hand assembly, they now were. So for example, we have a paint line, and one of the paint lines actually turned into a hand assembly area, and it was just a way that we could keep folks more spread out while we were trying to produce the equipment.
What's the response from your workers? Are they enjoying it, the change of pace? Some people are having a hard time getting workers to come back. You evidently create a wonderful place to work.
Yeah, and I mean, obviously you've got a mixed response. Some folks are rearing and ready to get back. You know, a paycheck is pretty important to a lot of people, and so there's folks that want to get back here and get back to a position where they're helping to support their family. And there were other folks that did decide it was best for them not to come back, and we were sensitive to that. And we tried to, like I said, make it a healthy place for folks to come back to. And we were working with government officials and keeping up on the briefings day in and day out and making sure that this was a place that they felt like they could come to and be safe. So, like I said, we went slow and kind of eased into it and then and continued to work through it. Now, as far as the actual production goes, we did end that production. Basically, once our factory was able to ramp back up and produce our normal everyday products, we transitioned back, and that has probably been going on now. Let's see, time's going fast.
Yes.
I think that was actually back in, I think it was May when we were able to open back up. So, and honestly, that was where the opportunity actually kind of eased out. So when we were in the height of the pandemic and there was a lot more uncertainty, that was when there was a really strong demand for the shields that we were producing. We were very fortunate, basically, when that contract, for lack of a better term, ended. that was when we were able to kind of fire back up the rest of the facility and produce what we were previously making. So
Well, that was exactly what I was going to ask you. Will you continue to make these? Because I've got an idea, Anthony.
Okay.
Sometimes it's hard to get little children to wear that face shield or face mask. And I thought, but they love to play dress up. So could the face shields look like superheroes or even heroes of the Bible that they would love to, put that on and play, and then it wouldn't be scary, but then they could go out in public.
Oh. Hey, that is a good idea.
But I can't get anybody to pick up and do it. They all go, interesting. But you've already closed down that line, so I am barking up the wrong tree. But if you ever open it up again, that's my idea.
Okay, all right.
I think one thing that's so important with what you do is the relationships, and I think that's probably, I'm going to guess and throw this out to you and let you respond, that the relationships that you have and the integrity of your company, P. Graham Dunn is known everywhere. Did that help you be able then to supply? How did you know where to send face shields and how to distribute them and repackage everything? That to me sounds complicated, even more complicated than making the product itself.
Yes, and actually, again, fortunately, it was through a connection. So it was just through a mutual business partner of ours that the opportunity arose, and we essentially provided the labor. We were given the product and the materials that were required to produce the items, and then they also managed the routing of the products once they left our facility and were directed to the appropriate hospitals. So we were able to kind of stay out of that piece of the equation. We just assembled, packaged, and then prepared for shipment. And we were actually working with a company out of, I believe, Hudson, Ohio, called Laird. And that's Laird Plastics, and that's who we were kind of contracting with during the time.
So how do you feel now that things are back to normal, getting back to normal, and you're making your more familiar P. Graham Dunn products?
Well, we're still taking it a day at a time.
Yeah.
We're making sure that we retain a safe facility here and continue to follow the mandates that have been kind of put on factories and how they're supposed to operate during this time, and I think we're doing a pretty good job at that. And then as far as our business goes, we are seeing a nice bounce back. Orders are continuing to come in. A lot of our customers are opening back up, although slowly. They're getting more confident each day. But at the same time, some of our bigger trade shows and things that we typically go to are obviously events where hundreds upon hundreds of people attend, and those type of events at this point in time are pretty up in the air.
Right.
And so, like I said, we're approaching it a day at a time. Something pretty unique that we did even back a few months ago was we put together what we've called kind of our live ordering. And so for those of you that maybe aren't quite as familiar with P. Graham Dunn, anybody that we typically do business with, it's going to be a small independent gift shop. It might be a Hallmark store, and it might be a customer as big as like a Hobby Lobby.
Right.
So with some of the smaller stores, though, like Hallmarks and things, we actually created a way that we would do basically FaceTime with them. And so we set up all of our products in a way, and they could call us on FaceTime, and we'd kind of show them with the camera what some of the new products looked like, and then we were taking orders with them so they could order some of the items and put them in their stores. So we found that to be something a little bit more unique to keep that, like you said earlier, that relationship aspect of the ordering process. And so even though we can't be seeing each other in person at some of the trade shows that we used to go to and sell our products at, we could still have that interaction with them and kind of joke and have fun and work together.
Yeah. Do you think that maybe that will continue? Because it seems to me that a lot of things we had to get creative to learn how to do differently to keep things going and moving forward. Some of these might be ideas that we either switch to or add in addition to. Do you think you might continue to take on some of these, doing maybe not as many face-to-face, but adding more Zoom meetings or what have you?
Yes, yeah. Yeah, I definitely think it'll be a permanent structure in our business moving forward, especially as costs are continuing to rise, no matter whether that be inability to travel places just because of the cost of flying, or just even the cost of traveling, gas, and things like that. I think the more interconnected we can be without having to be in the exact location as someone else, there's just some conveniences there that folks can get some cost savings on if they need it. And being an independent small gift shop or retailer, it's a hard business. These folks are always looking for ways to get the most out of their dollar. And I could continue to see things going that way. But at the same time, there are certain things about the in-person experience that are kind of irreplaceable, and I know that many are pining to get back to a time when we can be together.
Yeah, we need people.
Yep.
And I've said this a million times. If it had to happen, at least it happened in a generation where we have this kind of technology where even though we're apart and socially distancing, we can still stay connected because of the technology. Your thoughts on that?
Yeah, without question. I mean, our team was pretty easily able to transition. Like I said, when the non-essential businesses were required to kind of stay at home and make a transition, our folks did that, and we used a product called Microsoft Teams that's similar to Zoom or a GoToMeeting type product, and it was a pretty seamless transition for us to utilize that, and we made the best of it. Now, we have a very tactile touch and feel product and process here for a lot of things we do at P. Graham Dunn. So it was something that worked temporarily, but it wasn't something that I say could work forever for a lot of the folks that work here. But definitely it got us through that time period when it was most important.
Do you do many transactions with online orders, or is it still mostly that fun shopping experience and discovering the products and being able to pick them up and hold them and see, this would be exactly right for that space in my house hanging there?
It's without question that things are definitely going that direction. I mean, there will always be that hunt and find and that touch and feel aspect to shopping for home decor furniture and those types of things, but we still continue to see a good portion of business go online, and we've been working to invest in ways to make that a better experience for folks who want to buy our decor online. And that, at this point in time, is just showing a lot of different angles of our product, increasing the photography that we make available online, showing different features of the products and really accentuating that. And even for like some of our wholesale customers, we've been making a lot of videos.
Neat.
So we talk up on the videos, this is how this product works, this is a special feature, this is the price, and this is a pre-pack if you'd like to buy multiples, and just kind of talking up the different aspects. And I think that we will continue to see that and on into the future. I mean, it's just convenient. I mean, folks can't always get to the store. It takes a lot of time, and people like to shop, and it's relaxing. And so whether they're doing that online or in a store, we want to make it a good experience, and we want them to buy our product.
Absolutely. One thing that is so fun about coming to your factory is being able to watch it, to see the laser technology happening, and just to watch the assembly line. Has that opened up yet? Do you receive visitors yet to be able to watch?
Yeah, so I'm not sure when the last time was that you might have visited our facility, but we actually took out the retail. What's that? No, we didn't take anything out. No,
good.
We actually took out some big windows in our retail store, and they are actually completely open. So you can actually hear the sights, see the sights, hear the sounds of the factory.
Oh, that's even better.
And they're huge windows. I mean, they took out almost like 10, 12 feet of space, and so they're big windows so people can just kind of look and see what's going on. Even on the side where we do a lot of our milling, where things are loud and dusty, we actually created what we call kind of like a cave. And so you can go in the cave, and where there's windows in the cave, and you can kind of see everything. But that way it just kind of keeps the store from getting dusty and things like that. But so so both sides of our facility now have those visible, so you can see our finishing department, you can see our printing department, and then you can also see our milling and assembly, which would be producing like pallets and milling out carved signs and things like that. So we actually added that, like I said, at the end of last year, and so that's been just a great kind of replacement for folks that used to be able to go on the tours and walk through the facility.
Which I'm sure would make a fun video as well, but there's something about that experience. That is just a very cool experience you've got there. We're speaking with Anthony Burdett from P. Graham Dunn. Going to take a short break. We'll be back after these words. You're listening to Our Community. Welcome back to Our Community. Susie Thomas visiting with Anthony Burdett from P. Graham Dunn. Anthony, there is something more to P. Graham Dunn than just a product. You make really cool, very, very fashionable home decorating items, but there's just something more about it. Let's talk about that. First of all, Peter Dunn, what was his vision for this company? Give me a little history.
Oh, well, Peter's got, we probably don't have enough time for his whole story. And he's actually in the process of writing a book right now, so keep that in mind. I'm not sure when it'll be finished with it, but Peter's vision started years ago. As some of you may know, it started on the streets of New York. Him and his wife, Leanna, opened up a home for young women who were basically either homeless or without parents, and they took them in. And essentially it started from a way to keep these girls busy and out of trouble. Mm-hmm. And so he went and bought some woodworking equipment and fired up a little wood shop in the basement, and these girls got to work, and it was a way that they could have some fun and then make a little money on the side too. So he would go then on the weekends and sell that product in Greenwich Village there in New York, and he just created kind of a unique environment for them to operate in and to take some pride in. And then once that program wrapped up, they moved back to the farm here in Ohio. It was Leanna's family farm. And, he still had a knack for that and enjoyed the handiwork. And he kind of started that back up in a lean-to next to his home. And that was 40 years ago. And now we're in a 260,000 square foot facility here in Dowling with a little bit less handiwork, but still fulfilling his original vision, which I think was to honor the Lord in what he was doing, but also just to create some really great pieces that people could display in their homes and that would bring them joy.
How involved is he in the actual artwork still? Because they used to be handmade by him, right? And then the first one, the prototype would be, and then you could make a bunch of them with the cool lasers. But how involved is he in designing still?
Oh, still very involved.
Wow.
So I'm on our new product development team, and we meet once a day and talk through new ideas and kind of rattle each other as cages as far as, what about this idea, what about that, and we kind of come together with what I think to be some still really great products coming out of the walls here, and he's in that process day in and day out. So he's absolutely got a passion for what we do here and wants to continue that as long as he can.
Well, I'm so excited to have somebody from new product development on the other end of the line. So what's coming up?
I can't reveal
what can you let us know? We have to come and see, right?
Yeah, no, I will tell you something that has been a very big transition here at P. Graham Dunn, even over the last 3 or 4 years, is at one point we were doing what's a lot of MDF, and that's a kind of a medium density fiber. It's a great product because you can carve out of it, and it makes a pretty consistent end result. And I think that was something that we did for quite a few years here, and then we really transitioned out of that the last few and got into more natural woods using what we call eastern white pine, and that's actually a domestically sourced pine material, which is a little bit more difficult to work with because it's a live wood, but it creates a much nicer product. It just has the natural feel of wood, and it's also domestically produced and grown, which is great. And then some of our newer introductions here, we're getting in some glass items. So some of those are coming. And just experimenting with some of our printing technology and expanding just what we do is some more pieces also that have some unique function to them. So just recently we produced an item called a wooden greeting card. And so the way that works is it's got a little piece of canvas on it, and then it's got 2 pieces of wood, and we've put some nice messaging in there. And so we're just trying to get creative and do new things that we don't see out there yet, and we're having fun doing it.
Oh, that's so cool. One thing that I love that kind of came along is all the words on the walls. Got blessed and different gathering or just labeling rooms like kitchen.
Yeah.
Tell me that that's going to last a while, because I really like that look and I don't want to change everything. I have words all over the house.
Well, something that we always kind of say here is that a lot of people can make art and a lot of people can make decor, and we really pride ourselves in the sentiment. And so that's the application of words, like you mentioned, whether it's like laundry or kitchen, or but also the inspirational aspect and adding just uplifting sayings and sentiments, spiritual sayings and sentiments, different pieces that honor God and kind of honor what our beliefs and values are. And so that will always be the key to our success here, we believe, at P. Graham Dunn, and we kind of think that that's one of the main drivers behind what we do.
I think so too. Let's peel that back just a little bit more. How important is it to have inspirational words and scripture and surround ourselves in our living environment with that kind of decor?
Well, we think it's invaluable, obviously, and we've kind of bet our business on it. And I think that folks are always looking for something to encourage them and to lift them up. And we've purposely stayed away from what some of our competitors do, and there's a lot of crass humor out there, and even kind of mocking humor. And we've really tried to stay away from that and focus on the positive that's always encouraging others, encouraging positivity, and again, uplifting God. And like I said, to us, that's invaluable. That's kind of why we're here. And I think that at the end of the day, even though some of us might be more sarcastic and cynical, we can still always relate to a positive message, and that's the message that we want to convey. So
yes. You have a brand. Everybody knows what they're getting with P. Graham Dunn. There is no concern that it's going to be, like you say, any kind of crass humor at all. It's just going to be something that inspires you, lifts you up. It's going to be encouraging. Everyone knows it. It's a brand. You've got it. Whoever's doing are you the marketing person?
Yeah.
Good job. Good job. It seems to me that you opened up, maybe my timeline is off, but the 30th Street in Canton store opened up shortly before everything closed down. So how are things going as far as opening up the smaller stores around the area?
Yeah, so that store actually opened November 1st of 2019. So we got through the Christmas season down there and had a strong season to start out and have our grand opening. And then, yes, it wasn't long after that the store also had to shut down. But we bounced back actually pretty well. And this week we're actually having a customer appreciation sale. Now, when this actually airs, it may be over by then. But that sale's going on down there, and we're seeing some good traffic and getting some folks back in the store. But we want to be sensitive to people, too. So we've got a website folks can shop on as well. So we like to treat our stores and our website as two equivalent options. If you want to come in the store and you're comfortable doing so and feel safe in doing that, then you're more than welcome to join us. We've got some great deals and things always going on. And again, you get that touch and feel aspect of the product. But if you feel more comfortable shopping from home, you can find our products on our website at pgrahamdunn.com.
pgrahamdunn.com.
Yep.
Very easy. All right, can we talk about the reject pile? I'm amazed. When we've gone shopping, there have been, maybe it's discards for some reason or another. It didn't cut the muster for some reason. But to me, they look absolutely awesome. So what does something have to do to make it into a store or to make it onto a shelf? Because I think your discard pile is pretty great.
Well, we do try to really just our end product to be absolutely the best it can be. Now, sometimes you might find items that might have ended up in the reject pile simply because they were discontinued. So there might be an item that just we're no longer selling to our broader audience, but we've still got some on the shelf, and so we've got to find a way to kind of, for lack of a better term, get rid of them. And so those might end up in the outlet or in the reject pile there. And then also we do quite a bit of custom work too. So with some of the bigger customers, we try to differentiate our product.
Nice.
So it's not always the same thing that you would find in some of your more local shops, because we don't want to be selling the same. And so we might have had somebody fall asleep at the printer and printed an extra, 10, 20, 30 pieces accidentally, and we needed a way to get rid of those. And so sometimes those items are perfectly fine. They just end up in the outlet there. So, yeah, you can always find some really great treasures in that outlet section.
Yes, no, where you will find them is in the Thomas home, actually. They were only temporarily in that outlet.
Okay.
Oh, my goodness, yes, that is a fun place to shop. How rewarding is your work, Anthony?
That's a great question, Susie. I love working here. I think that there's so many different aspects. Being able to kind of live your faith in your work is one of them. I think also just how quickly you get response to your work. So I had worked in a different type of work previously, and you'd work on something and you may never even see it come to fruition. It kind of has to go through a bunch of different channels before it ends up. And at P. Graham Dunn, it's just the opposite. You make something on one day, and then like 2 months later, it's actually being shipped to a customer, and you're finding out whether they like it or not by whether it's selling well. And I think that just makes it all the more fulfilling, because you actually get to see and experience whether what you're doing is the right thing. And the past few years, we've really seen some tremendous growth. So we feel like we're doing something right.
Mm-hmm. Well, absolutely are. Is there a product that you kind of especially like right now that you've got available?
Well, I already mentioned the wooden greeting card.
Wooden greeting cards is really
cool.
One
of my favorites that we just came out with.
That is cool.
Let me think. We did come out with some new, some more three-dimensional items in our last introduction. So we actually came out with some candle holders, which are kind of unique. And we came out with some beaded frames. So they actually have these little wooden bead frames, and they're really distressed, and those are a pretty unique thing. And then we do have a brand new line of collegiate decor, too. So for those of you Ohio State fans out there, we're actually starting to sell some licensed Ohio State products that are pretty cool, and they're just now hitting our stores. So
very awesome. Well, we've got to get there. Get to a store near you. Go online to pgrahamdunn.com or visit the facility. And that really sounds exciting, because I have not seen it since you've revamped the tour. Got to see that. Anthony Burdett from P. Graham Dunn, thank you for all you do in our community.
You're welcome, Susie. Thanks so much for your time.